And now for our next news special report.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Franchi here, and the story I'm about to share with you might be one of the most alarming yet. Explosives found at our southern border, and the evidence suggests they were tailored for terrorism. Our republic's very foundation is under threat, and the alarm bells are ringing louder than ever. We have eyewitness accounts from top GOP senators who've seen this firsthand, but that's not all. FBI's recent warnings, border breaches in record numbers, and revelations from our very own Border Patrol agents, it all paints a grave picture. You need to understand the magnitude of what's at stake, so I urge you to stay with me till the very end of this report. You don't want to miss the final thought that every American must confront. Now, before we dive into today's alarming story, I want to share something with you. Our ability to bring you top-notch news is made possible by our incredible sponsors, and every time you support them, it's like giving us the thumbs up for the work we're doing. You're essentially saying, Gary, keep shedding light on these crucial issues, and remember, as we talk about securing borders, many of you are looking to secure your health. The key, keep your goals in focus. One proven strategy is stepping on a scale, but if you want to amplify your efforts, there's a fantastic alternative out there, naturally sourced, backed by science, and designed to support weight management. And for a limited time, there's a 51% off discount waiting for you. Just head over to trimwithgary.com. Now, back to our story. The warnings about potential terrorists entering the U.S. via the southern border have echoed for months, and folks, it's no longer a distant possibility. Recent apprehensions by our vigilant Border Patrol agents have unveiled immigrants carrying explosives designed for acts of terror. This isn't just an ordinary threat. These explosives were, quote, tailored for terrorism. And the gravity of the situation has spurred immediate responses from our GOP senators, including Senator Barrasso, Cornyn, Cruz, and Ricketts. Take a look.
We have just returned from our southern border, and it is painfully clear that with Joe Biden's open border policy, our country is really at an increased threat for a terrorist attack. A couple days before we got there, alert border agents were able to seize immigrants carrying with them IEDs, explosive devices really tailor-made for terrorism. They were the size of cannonballs.
Senator Barrasso did mince words after visiting our southern border, pinpointing Joe Biden's policies as the root cause. Due to Joe Biden's open border policy, he stated our republic is facing an increased risk of terrorist attacks. Now, as we grapple with these revelations, we've got more troubling news. The FBI Director Christopher Wray has explicitly stated that the activities of groups like Hamas inside Israel might incite violence right here on our homeland. Watch.
But as I said a few moments ago, on top of the homegrown violent extremist and domestic violent extremist threat, we also cannot and do not discount the possibility that Hamas or another foreign terrorist organization may exploit the current conflict to conduct attacks here on our own soil. We have kept our sights on Hamas and have multiple ongoing investigations into individuals affiliated with that foreign terrorist organization.
Now, his concerns are well grounded. The continuous calls from extremist groups for attacks on Americans have the West have been persistent. This isn't just some far-fetched notion, it is a reality. Our nation's vulnerabilities are being exposed. Now, when asked about the potential infiltration of groups like Hamas or Hezbollah into the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas couldn't provide any assurance. His answer, an unequivocal no. Watch.
Can you say that Hamas, Hezbollah, or other Iran-backed terrorists are not in the U.S. currently after possibly illegally crossing our southern border?
Senator, let me assure you that anyone who poses a threat to our national security or our public safety is an enforcement priority of ours, and we use our detention capabilities to the fullest extent.
Yeah, that was not an answer, and he looked terrified because he knows his borders are wide open. He's let them into this country. And let's not forget about our heroes, the Border Patrol agents, men and women like them out there every day confronting deadly threats head on. But as Senator Cruz has highlighted, their hard work is often undone by their political superiors who release these threats right back out. And the numbers alone are staggering. Over 600,000 known breaches at the southern border just this year. Let that sink in. Over 500,000 potential threats, and that's more than just a number, that's a crisis. But what makes this even more alarming is the potential identity of some of these individuals. Authorities have sounded the alarm bells. Groups like Hamas might be making their way through our southern border. But what's more disturbing than the breaches, the evident shift in Homeland Security's priorities. Instead of ensuring the sanctity of our borders, the focus seems to be elsewhere. Watch.
Do you think a threat to the homeland is a discussion of vaccine efficacy?
I do not, Ranking Member Paul. And
if you'll have your staff read, and I think it'd be good for you to read also the Missouri versus Biden case, it lists time and time again discussion of constitutionally protected speech that has nothing to do with national security. So when you say you didn't meet to do with that, yes, you were meeting, you just disagree with the characterization of it. Were you meeting with social media companies to discuss content moderation? And your answer to that is no?
My answer
That's the specific question. Did you meet with them, and were you meeting with them to discuss content on the internet?
My answer remains the same, Ranking Member Paul, that we met on a periodic basis with other federal agencies and a group of social media companies to speak with them about the threat environment that the homeland faced.
Right, and this includes discussion of vaccine efficacy, mask efficacy, Hunter Biden's laptop. Are these meetings still occurring?
Ranking Member Paul, they are not. We do not participate in any such
And
meeting.
the reason the meetings aren't occurring is because a federal judge placed an injunction on you, and the Biden administration acknowledged that they're not having the meetings. So you need at least acknowledge that the court is talking to you about this and saying what you were doing with.
This video showcases the Department of Homeland Security's skewed priorities. Is curbing speech really more crucial than fortifying our southern border? Of course, we have Senator Rand Paul challenging Mayorkas on content moderation. And the question that stands out, do you see discussing vaccine efficacy as a homeland threat? That's what we're dealing with, folks. And the issues don't stop there. We have reports of a vast caravan, close to 5,000 people heading towards the U.S. southern border. These migrants, frustrated with Mexico's visa processes, are determined to make it here. In the figures, they are simply jaw-dropping. Over 2 million illegal crossings at the southern border for 2 consecutive years, 2022 and 2023, both setting disturbing records. When Senator Ron Johnson questioned Mayorkas about the number of illegal immigrants released into the U.S. under the Biden administration, there was an alarming lack of clarity. One can't help but wonder, with such massive numbers, how many have ill intentions? Watch.
Mayorkas, I've asked you this in the past. What numbers are represented here? How many people has this administration let in by encountering, processing, dispersing, or that have come in as a known or unknown gotaway? What approximately? I don't need an exact number. So what do we got?
Senator, let me say.
I need numbers. Again, don't filibuster me. How many people has this administration led into the country?
Let me say at the outset that our job would be a lot easier if the broken immigration system was fixed.
No, Mr. Secretary, I want a number. How many people have you led into this country?
I should also
okay,
comment.
I'll give you the number. It's about 6 million. About 1.7 million as known gotaways. Now, again, we don't know who these people are. We just know that they've come to this country and they're residing somewhere. Where are all these people residing? Where did the 6 million people go?
Senator, you speak of encounters, and let me share
would you answer my questions? Where did these 6 million people go? Are you keeping track of them? To what extent do we have a handle on where these 6 million people are in America?
Senator, as you well know, when an individual is indeed released, they are released into immigration enforcement proceedings and are subject to removal if they do not have a legal basis to remain in the United States.
You're not answering the question. Where do these people reside? We know we've got about 100,000 in New York, and New York Mayor Adams says it will destroy New York. That's, by the way, less than 2% of the 6 million people. So less than 2%, 100,000 is going to destroy New York. What's happening around the country? I'm not going to get answers from Secretary Mayorkas. Director Wray, what are you doing to track these people and investigate the potential threat?
So we are tackling it through a variety of means. There are some categories I would put kind of in the terrorist watch list category, and there it's our joint terrorism task forces that are working with partners throughout the law enforcement community to try to identify.
So how many agents do you have tasked to investigate potential terror threats coming into this country and those 6 million people, and particularly the 1.7 million gotaways? How many agents are on investigating that flow of illegal immigrants?
Well, I don't know that I can give you the exact number, but let me try to
ballpark.
Let me try it this way.
Is it 100? Is it a couple hundred? Is it? I mean, just a ballpark.
Well, I would say we have several.
The question remains, is America ready to face these imminent threats? Our safety, our very way of life is being tested, and every American deserves answers. The evidence is mounting, and the stakes have never been higher. Our call: demand transparency, demand accountability, because it's not just our safety that's at stake, it's the very future of our republic. Now, our nation stands on the precipice of unparalleled danger. The terrifying discovery at the border, more than just a revelation, is a stark testament to the sheer negligence of the Biden administration. Every day, we entrust our leaders to keep our great republic safe, to defend the values and security we hold dear. Yet what we witness now is the administration seemingly turning a blind eye to threats jeopardizing our very way of life. These explosives, tailored for terrorism, are not just items of concern, but harbingers of potential devastation. The time for reactive policies is over. The question looming large is, how many more alarming discoveries will it take for the Biden administration to wake up? America's safety hangs in the balance, and the stakes, they've never been higher. Every American must demand action. It's not just our right, but our solemn duty. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.